Hey, welcome back, Bronto buddies. We're making potato rösti. It's essentially the best hash browns that you've ever had. Super, super crispy, and you can tell here. Also, we've got a different setup. We're going to be using the stove today, so we need some non-stick pan action here as well. To start off, we need to get some butter melting up here on the stove. You're gonna need a pretty good amount of butter because potatoes and butter are really good friends. So go ahead and whack a little bit of that right onto the stove. Get it heating, about medium heat, and then let's peel some potatoes. You can leave the skins on if you want. Depends on the flavor that you want. It can work either way. I decided to go skins off, and then here I'm grating the potatoes. I'm using the larger holes on the box grater. And this is one way that you can do it, and you'll end up with a kind of a really fine sort of a texture. But if you do it like this, use your knife, kind of slice like consistent sizes, consistent thickness, and then cut them down just like this here. Then you'll have a really interesting sort of, I guess, a more toothy sort of a texture that you could end up with. I like to do a mixture of the two. You can see the one that's grated, it's a little kind of like, tender, really tender, whereas the cut ones, the hand cut ones, are pretty, they're still kind of sturdy there. So mix those two up and we've got two different textures going. So let's season this. We've got a little salt in there, and then we go a little pepper right into the bowl as well. This is really important here. Once you get your seasoning in, you want to move pretty quickly. All the moisture from the potatoes really starts to leach out. Though on that note, important, you want to squeeze out as much liquid as possible from those potatoes. That'll help us to brown the potatoes more quickly. So we take that butter that we had going on the stove, we add it to our bowl, our seasoned potatoes, and then we're gonna toss it up, make sure everything's well coated. Then we're pretty much ready to rock here. You get it on the stove. We're looking at like a medium high-ish heat. This is a non-stick pan again, very importantly, and you put all the potatoes in there, and then we're going to shape it. This part's important, so you keep the potatoes away from the edges so that they don't stick to the the sides of the pan, first off, and then secondly, it looks pretty. And so if you want to be really tedious about it, go ahead and do that. It's fun. Making pretty food is well, it's pretty great. So make it very nice, and once it's been cooking for a bit, half hour or so, remember this is like medium heat, then you're gonna flip it over and be very careful about that. You can see that I spilled a good amount of butter there, but we've got a pretty nice crust on the first side, and so we're just gonna let that crisp up on the other side, and then we're gonna shape it one more time, make sure it's looking nice and pretty. And that's gonna sit there again. This is like a medium heat, and it's just kind of hanging out until the other side is looking nice and brown. See those beautiful bubbles there in the pan? Let's drain this off now onto a paper towel, get some of that grease off for just a couple minutes, and then we're gonna cut into this. I had my mic set up here on the cutting board in hopes that I could get the crunchy sounds. Didn't work out, but I promise this thing super crunchy. Beautiful thing about rösti is that you could, I cut this up here, you can see, and I've got, you can now do several different methods there. That was the beer cheese that I put on the first one, little Aleppo pepper. This is actually a homemade ranch with some caviar. This was a really good bite. Super, this is really tasty. That saltiness from the fish eggs, and then ranch. I mean, everyone loves ranch. That was not a bad idea. This is a little end of summer fig jam, really beautiful homemade fig jam, and you can do something as simple as this if you want. It's just honey, nice organic honey, and right there on that crispy potato, right? Super nice textures. You got that creamy inside of the potato and the ultra crispy on the outside. Sweet or savory, however you want to do it up. Potato rösti is like something you should really try. I highly recommend. as I usually do. Thank you so much for joining us in this cooking video here. Again, catch us live cooking on Twitch this Thursday. That'll be twitch.tv/uncle_Brontosaurus. If you're interested in this recipe or the products I use in this video, click the description below for more info. Thank you so much, Bronto buddies. Cheers.